Folks, good evening. It is the Earthmaster back here on the live stream with a update video here on this Thursday night. It is August 3rd, 2023, about 10:57 p.m. here. That's California time, and the latest activity on the globe. Let's go ahead and pull up the Earthquake 3D globe here. See what we got. 4.0 coming in off the coast here of Peru. Looks like that's somewhat deep there at about 100 kilometers. We did see some further activity out here across the Southeast Pacific Rise. Nothing showing up here across the USGS map, but there was that 5.2 out here across the divergent boundary between the Nazca and the Antarctica plate here. We'll watch regions across the, well, it could already be popping up here across the South America region following this activity. All right, let's see what else we got across the states as we zoom in here. A little bit of activity occurring off the coast of Oregon, way off the coast here into the Blanco fracture zone. An earthquake earlier this afternoon, 3.3 fracture zone there, 2.5 also earlier this evening. A little bit further down, still waiting for things to pick up here across the Northern California area with all this movement going on into these fracture zones. But so far it's been somewhat quiet. Let me check out the tremor map here tonight and see what we have for the Cascadia tremor. Stand by for a second. They've been a little slow for some reason. Not for sure why, but there we go. 167 epicenters. A little bit going on here across Northern California as well. This activity occurring looks like earlier this morning, so it's possible we could be... could start to see a little bit of activity stirring up here at the surface levels. I know over the past couple days we've seen a handful of earthquakes there in the 2 range across the southern end of the Cascadia, but it looks like it's starting to pick up a little bit more here as far as tremor goes. So 167 epicenters of tremor across the Cascadia subduction zone. We'll watch Northern California here potentially for some uptick following this activity. Throughout the Cascades, a little bit of movement across the volcanoes, but nothing major going on up there for now. Back down into California area, outside of the Pyramid Lake area. Got a 2.0 near Herlong area. Looks like a 2.0, 5.9 kilometers deep. And a little bit of a swarm activity here north side of the Pyramid Lake region. Typical movement here across the Cobb Mountain area, the Clear Lake volcanic field. Bay Area fairly quiet for now. And let's see what we got for Southern California. Really haven't seen any major uptick here following that 4-pointer here a couple days ago. No major swarms, no major unusual activity to take note of. Kind of surprising here. All right, Yellowstone National Park looks pretty quiet, but we are seeing some activity throughout Idaho and Montana with some smaller earthquakes up there. Nothing big. The last earthquake looks like a 0.9 near the Hebgen Lake Estates there in Montana. Well, it says Montana, but if you look at the epicenter here, it's pretty much right in Wyoming. Let's double check the Yellowstone seismographs here real quick and see what we have going on. It looks like we only got one station keyed up here. Not for sure why. Maybe it's because we're past our that wouldn't make sense though. Okay, this is from the previous day, but it also includes some looks like some activity from today as well. There's not a whole lot of earthquake activity. Let's go back to the right now. I meant to click the right now one. This apparently is the most recent one. I'm not for sure why they're only showing a handful, but that's got to do with the mountain time there. It should be starting a new cycle here. It looks like it just started. Their time's going to be midnight mountain time. Either way, it doesn't look like there's too much activity there at Yellowstone for now. Across Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, New Madrid seismic zone. Not a whole lot going on. A couple smaller earthquakes to chat about, but well, to not chat about because those are from earlier this morning. It doesn't look like anything major going on there for now. Puerto Rico area. Handful of smaller quakes, and a Middle America trench here still showing some activity, mostly 2s and 3s stirring up here. Looks like the majority of that activity is around the northern edge here of the Middle America trench. We're not seeing a whole lot of activity across the Gulf of Fonseca like we were last week. just minimal movement there. Most of the activity, though, stirred up across the just off the coast of Mexico. Let's see, New Zealand. What's going on down here in New Zealand? Looks like a little clutter going on, at least close to New Zealand. The last quake in this area, 4.9, Kermadec Islands. Starting to squeeze down here a little bit. Unzip the region, or maybe not unzip the area, but looks like it's starting to work its way down here across the area of New Zealand. Let's go ahead and pull up the latest earthquake drums here from the GeoNet servers and see what we have going on. It looks like most of that activity is around the North Island area. And even then, it's a little spotty. Looks like the majority of this is going to be activity across the Kermadec Trench. 3.0, 14 hours ago, that's South Island. We need to go the all magnitudes here. 3.3, Kermadec Trench. 3.7, Kermadec Trench up here. 4.4, Kermadec Trench. A lot of activity up around the Kermadec Trench, so we'll continue to watch that for some movement. Let's see here. It looks like a little bit of deeper activity here across the Tonga region. One earthquake outside of Fiji earlier this afternoon. Pretty deep, 540 kilometers deep almost there. And some activity across Papua New Guinea. It looks like a earthquake around the 4.3 range from early this morning. Still seeing a pretty good cluster here across the Indonesia Islands area and working its way around the Java Trench. We did see a pretty deep earthquake there earlier into the region. I'm talking about this one right here, 4.5, 640 kilometers deep here. That looks like it's at the southern end, potentially here of the Philippines Trench. Not for sure if that's what it's going to be right here, but it's very close to this area. Either way, that is a super deep earthquake. A look at historical data, I'm sure, will show us that, well, goodness, hold on a second here. The deeper quakes tend to be in the darker circles, right? So, looks like we have seen a handful of deeper quakes here, but for the most part, this is going to be relatively shallow, large earthquakes. Talking about 7.0 to 8.0, it looks like maybe greater across this area. But the deep earthquakes there, a little spotty. So we'll watch this region for some movement. Doesn't look like we've seen too much more shallower earthquake activity. If anything, we've seen some deeper movement quakes here across the Java Sea. 578 kilometers, so there's a whole lot of deep activity that is being created here across this area. Could be pointing to something much bigger, so we'll watch this region pretty closely here in the coming days. A little bit of activity north of the Himalayas and the China, it looks like, 4.9, 2.9 just south here in the India. And getting some activity stirring up out here into the Red Sea area once again. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. 4.4, 4.6, adding on to the number of quakes out here. It's a little odd to see this type of activity across the region. Let's take a look here and see. I'm going to pull up this map. There's your key to monitor or to recognize the earthquake activity out here. Mostly shallow earthquakes, right? It's not a subduction zone. It's a divergent boundary here. Separation of the oceanic crust, so to speak. And another rift zone over here across Uganda. And yeah, this looks like we did see some activity here around the 6 range or so. Doesn't say exactly when, but it's not in a majorly area that sees a lot of earthquake activity, so I'm not for sure what's going on there 100%. Look at the last 30 days of activity around this region. We did see a 5.6 earlier this month here, just a couple days ago. So potentially could be aftershock activity. Either way, we'll continue to watch this region. The Mediterranean here. Let's see if we got anything major going on. Doesn't look like it. Mostly smaller microquakes, a 4-pointer or so across the Turkey area. But no unusual activity to take note of there. The Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet as well. Not a whole lot of movement across the divergent boundaries. Do have a 3.9 coming into the Alaska area. That was following, it looks like, well, they still have it as a 6-pointer up here. I don't know if that was quite a 6-pointer or not earlier today. I believe that was just a 5-point, looks like a 5.6. That earthquake there from the USGS. The 6-pointer on the globe is from the EMSC model. So take your pick on which one is the right one. Either way, it looks like there's some activity definitely stirring up there across the Aleutian Trench. Let me back that out here real quick. Meant to pull up this. I don't see anything major coming up here on the Aleutian Islands seismograph station for now, but we'll continue to watch that for some further activity. All right, if you hear me pausing for a second, I'm taking a little break here. It never fails. It almost seems like, oh man, like somebody put a spell on me. Soon, you know, you gotta have your voice when you're in broadcasting, when you're in, you know, radio, whatever it may be. You have to have your voice. It almost seems like somebody's trying to squeeze my voice out. It never fails. It doesn't happen when I click the end button, but as soon as I get on the live stream, hello. All right. There's a little activity back building here across the Aleutian Trench with a 3.9, 6.4 kilometers deep for that earthquake just south here of the Kodiak Seamount. A little bit of pressure building up out here prior to the subduction zone. We'll definitely watch this area. We have seen, you know, a handful or two, or maybe just a handful, of somewhat moderate earthquakes here across the Aleutian Trench in the last 7 days. Last 30 days, 4.5 and above. Did see a little bit of larger movement with that 7.2 back in July. But it looks like some activity is stirring up into the deeper regions here just south of that larger quake from earlier last month. Continue to watch that. Looks like that got upgraded here to 4.2. Let's see here. Nothing going on across the Kuril-Kamchatka or the Japan Trench for now. Those are our quiet zones. But they have been, well, at least Japan area has been somewhat active here recently. Definitely seen some broad movement here across the Pacific. Continue to keep an eye on that. California is just buying some time, so to speak. Not a whole lot of movement currently taking place. No large-scale activity, but no doubt that will change. That's a given. All right, let's see here. Anything else major going on? I can't. Don't really think so. Space weather activity coming down from an M flare currently. Let's go ahead and see what we got there. Somewhat of a long duration M flare. Looks like maybe a CME was produced from that. That is coming off of a 3380, it looks like. Wait, 83, 11:55 UTC time. Well, we're past that. Something coming into Chile there. We'll check that in a minute. So that's not going to be this flare that's popping off currently. It looks as though maybe it's coming off of this other region. Notice this little bright feature here. 3380's still flaring slightly, but it is way out there on the southwestern limb of the sun. This one here looks like it's starting to peak up a little bit, so let's see what we got for the magnetic structure of that sunspot. That's going to be 3386. This thing has grown definitely pretty quickly since this morning. Notice a couple different cores here, all within each other, or side by side, I should say. That one's gaining some strength fairly rapidly. The newer sunspots coming around the eastern limb of the sun. That's going to be this area here, and a couple down on the southern, southeastern limb are noteworthy to watch as well. So we'll just continue to watch this, see how it plays out. Right now, 99% chance for a C flare, M flare 55, X flare around 10% chance, proton event around 10% still. No major auroras currently taking place. I don't know if we're going to see that G1 class storm that they're predicting. or at least forecasting. It's supposed to be around the 18 to 24 UTC time on the 4th. So that'll be later tomorrow. So we'll see if that comes in or not. Let's check out that earthquake there in Chile. It's a little one, nothing big. Of course, the USGS ain't going to jump on it yet. I don't know if even the EMSC picked up on it. It doesn't look like it's too big. Notice this little signature here around the Chile area. Probably another 4 coming in. But either way, slight uptick should be expected following this divergent boundary activity earlier with that 5.2. Continue to watch the Peru-Chile Trench as that does normally put strain out here. Seeing activity across this region. Alrighty, what else we got here? Anything new? Anything new going on? Storm Prediction Center. I don't think we're seeing anything major going on tonight. Let's go ahead and check out the windy map here. And then we'll go over some little things that I changed here on the live stream. Here is the current live radar. Looks like some thunderstorms brewing up here across western Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, stretching all the way up into North Dakota as well. This is where those straight line winds will probably take place if they haven't already. This type of setup here can produce a major outflow type of setup, outflow boundary that can probably produce some very strong winds. Let's see what the winds are right now across the area. This may not show the surface or individual winds with those thunderstorms, so you can't really be... Got to take that with a grain of salt. I'm sure there's more wind than that. But either way, a little bit of rain coming in. And some thunderstorms out there throughout the evening. Quite a bit of lightning out there around Garden City, Dodge City as well. Or at least it's going to be heading to Dodge City pretty soon. Heads up in that region. Nothing severe going on that I know of. Just some potential high winds and a noisy night. You were hoping to get some sleep out there. What is it? 1 in the morning currently out there, Central Time. Good luck. All right, so yeah, we made a couple different changes here on the live stream. I included just a couple newer things here. If you look down on the bottom screen, it says the YouTube symbol along with the number 22. That is the current live stream viewers. And also, I do have live stream chat up here as well. So whenever someone chats in the live stream, it will pop up here on the bottom, so to speak, roughly within this area, I think, unless it disappeared. But I'm still kind of working with this. Also up at the top here, where it says 9903, those are, well, those are my... current subscribers. We're trying to get to 100K. I just set a goal up there for 46 days ago. Hopefully we hit that before then, but we're really close to the 100,000 subscriber mark, so we want to make sure we get that that drawing given up, you know, coming up here soon. I don't want to wait until wintertime. Hopefully this will kick up here soon, a month, maybe a month and a half. That's why I set it at 45, 46 days. Hopefully we'll hit that 100K mark and be giving away some cool prizes. Can't wait. Definitely will be some fun stuff here. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff I can do here and add on to the live stream. Many different things. Not for sure if I'm going to include a lot of stuff, but I can include polls, super chat goal, Streamlabs, charity, sponsor banner. Don't have any sponsors currently, but that's always open. The jar, I had that up earlier, and that was just like a, I don't know, it was filling up with like Earthmaster Red Sun logos. Man, I guess whenever somebody subscribed, they would throw one of those in the jar. Tip ticker, that's something else. I'm not for sure if that's integrated yet into the live stream, but that's another way to support the channel. Donation goal, we don't have any of that yet. Subscription goal is the one I just put up. And yeah, it should be kind of cool. I think it's kind of neat. Super chat goal. So we'll just see how it works. Either way, I kind of like the the thought of the live viewers being there on the live viewer count, so to speak, there on the live stream. Alrighty, I think I am going to call it a night. I don't think we got anything major going on here, as far as any hurricanes. Somebody asked me earlier about what I think as far as the Atlantic Ocean hurricane season. I do know that there's quite a bit of chat about the Atlantic Ocean being warmer than normal, along with the Gulf. So it's almost like a ticking time bomb, so to speak, in terms of water temperature and the potential for some strong hurricanes. This one, what's this? 2 meter. I'm not for sure which map this would be best far as checking the sea surface temperature. There's a couple different ones I could use, but either way, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with El Nino, right? Coming up on the stronger phase here of El Nino. Where'd my El Nino page go? Right here. And this just kind of shows the June 2023 difference from average here. Temperature there of the ocean. And as you can see out here, the Western Pacific, or the Eastern Pacific, just west coast, got a little bit of cooler waters down here, but the majority is a lot warmer than normal. Here's our El Nino that they normally base the information off of here with this type of setup, but it's hard to say what's going to happen as far as the Atlantic goes. The Gulf, I don't think we have any hurricanes coming in currently to that area. Let me see here what we got. Pacific down here, notice that off the coast of Mexico, a little one spinning off there. But it all has to do with high pressure systems. The jet stream looks like maybe some tropical development forming around the 14th or 15th of August. Notice that right here, just south of Alabama, Mississippi area, off the coast there of Louisiana as well. But take that with a grain of salt, because it's not set in stone. These models are not that accurate that far out, almost 2 weeks out. But we'll continue to watch that and see what develops. But my thought is, if we can get, if we can get pressures out here, high pressure in the right position, stirring those hurricanes, somewhat into the Atlantic, into the Gulf region here, then it could make for a dandy of a hurricane season with these warmer temperatures. But we'll see how everything plays out. It's just my guess. I think it will be active and strong once things get going. Okay, now all the Yellowstone maps are working. That's a little weird. Little strange, but okay. Whatever. All right, we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow sometime. A little bit of activity there in the Columbia area. .3 coming into that region. All right, folks, have a good night. Stay safe out there, and we will chat you guys early in the morning. Take care.